So yesterday, one of the things I was thinking about after you left was, what were some of the things that you were doing as readers as you were reading this nonfiction book, Amazing Salamanders? So pause for a moment. And I jotted some of these things down because I thought I want to remind you of some of the things that you're already doing as readers that help you when you're reading nonfiction. One was you were really noticing the photographs. The photographs in this book were really helpful, weren't they?
And cool.
And cool. And that was the thing I wrote. They got you really interested in the topic. So got you really pulled into the book and the topic on salamanders. One of the other things that you also did was you used the labels and you used the captions. And remember we were talking about that labels just say the name of what's in the photograph. Yeah. Captions tell us more about the photograph. Sometimes it tells us extra information. Sometimes it tells us
so
extra
basically
things.
it can tell you the name and what it does and stuff like that?
It
like
can do all of that. Does all of that work.
So
And the other thing that you did that was so important was you didn't just think about the pictures or the photographs and then think about the words. You put them together. That's important reading work that you do when you're reading in third grade and fourth grade and on. And the other thing that you started automatically doing was thinking about things you already knew about salamanders. You started thinking about the topic and started to think.
One thing I already knew about salamanders in this book is, where was it again? I mean, that I didn't know in this book is, it said salamanders are not lizards. I don't know what it is, though.
Oh yeah, I remember that because we thought they were lizards, but then we found out that they weren't. Yeah, it was somewhere in there. We'll go back in and look.
Frogs, cause like
Frogs and toads.
cause like lizards are like probably dry, and salamanders are like slimy.
We talked about that. Brandon, what was something you were going to share that you, when we talked about that, something we already knew?
I didn't know nothing about salamanders.
So you didn't have any background to pull on, but you were starting to use all these other things. So today, one of the things I'm going to ask you to think about as you're reading is noticing when you find some of that information, just like you were doing right there, thinking about that they, when it said they look like lizards, but they're not lizards, being able to always know what in the book, was it photographs, was it the words that helped you know what you know? Okay, so today when you share your thinking, I'm going to ask you, what made you think about that? What helped you in the book to get to thinking about that? Okay. Now we're also working on making sure that when we are all sharing, that we're giving people a chance to finish their thought. And remember, if two people started talking at once, what's our strategy we're using?
Both stop. Oh, sorry.
It just happened to us, didn't it?
You can go.
And you invited her. You said, "Oh, you can go first." So go ahead and talk to us.
You both stop and you decide which person is gonna go first.
And you do an invitation for them, just like you did. All right, so let's get busy with our work. So here's your book back. Take a moment and just skim back through chapter 1 and the table of contents, because that's what we got to yesterday. So just get yourselves back into that book.
On this page?
Yep, just take a look through the table of contents, glance back through chapter 1. You don't have to read the whole thing, but just skim your eyes across it. Getting us back into thinking about salamanders. I have to ask, what did you think about this last part when it said salamanders help to keep their skin moist by making slimy mucus ooze out of the glands in their skin?
What?
What are you thinking there? I see some
think-
like faces. What are you thinking?
Like, because I think
Oh, so stay back here with us on this one because we haven't gone on to chapter 3 yet. What would you think about that last sentence there?
I think it was disgusting
What made it disgusting?
because they make ooze like.
What does it mean when it
oozy
says something
slime.
oozes?
Like
Goes
gushers.
out.
Yeah, it kind of goes
Kind of
out.
like the gushers, like
Yeah.
when you
Bite into it. And
Yeah. And mucus, what's kind of like spit and snot and that kind of gross stuff.
like your saliva.
Ooh, yeah.
Like you don't recommend it. It just pops out.
But isn't that helpful for those salamanders?
Wait a
Would that
minute.
help?
Yes.
It's kind of like the horn lizard. Whenever to protect themselves, they shoot blood out of their eye
Oh,
to protect themselves.
I heard. I was watching this video, and he was finding one of those things that Zayden was talking about, and then
Horn lizard.
they spit out blood out of their eyes to protect themselves, and it's weird because why out their eyes?
So how does that connect back to this? So let me bring you back to this. How is that helping you understand this?
Because this thing is kind of like a lizard. It looks like one, but and because they're like the same thing, because of this thing's tail comes off. I think.
So we
it
were
can
talking
go
about
back.
about the mucus oozing out. How does that protect
Oh,
the salamander?
Because if something puts it in its mouth, I think it's gonna say, "I don't want to eat that. It's disgusting."
Well, it could be, but what does the
Well,
book tell us
it
that
could-
is so helpful?
question.
So hold on. What does the book tell us that means when the salamander oozes this slimy mucus out? How
it's
does
like-
it protect him?
It protects them because you don't want to eat something that's all
Well,
slimy.
but that could be, but look at the words here.
Stay alive.
So go back into the words. Why do they do that? Why do they do?
So that they won't get dry, and I think when they get dry they die.
Like,
So you dehydrate a lot.
that's what he meant to say.
water.
Yeah, like
So
you dehydrate.
pause for just a moment. Notice what we did as thinkers. We think it would be gross if you ate something that had that slimy mucus.
Yeah.
But that's not what the book said. That's what we thought.
No, that's what.
We went back to the book to figure out what did the book tell us about why they use or how the salamander uses that oozy mucus coming out. Let's go on and let's look at chapter 3. All right, talk to us, Zayden.
Said anything yet?
Okay.
She has.
Hold on just a moment. Zayden's going to share his thinking, and then you guys get ready to add on to it.
I just wanted to say the first fact file on chapter 3.
Uh-huh.
Most salamanders eat insects, spiders, worms, and snails. But what is weird is that they're amphibians, right?
Yes.
They don't eat meat.
Exactly.
They don't eat meat. And then it says some eat frogs, fish, and even other salamanders.
Because fish is meat.
Yeah,
Fish is
fish.
fish.
It's not
No, I
But
mean,
it- but it means-
they're amphibians. They're not.
Yeah.
They don't
So
eat
they're
meat.
they're amphibians.
But
What did it tell you when you go back?
not chicken
Go back onto page 12. I want to take you back into the text on page 12. So I want you to go back in, and I want you to think about what do they eat. Go back in and take a quick read.
They eat flies.
I can
because
just tell
I think that I know that they eat.
Hold on just a moment. Look back in.
I know that they eat flies.
What are you thinking, Mariah?
I think most of them eat insects, worms, spiders, and snails.
So, but you were saying, Zayden, that you don't think that they eat meat.
Yeah, they don't.
Okay, so let me take you back into this very first sentence here.
Salamanders are carnivores. They
they
eat other animals. They search for food during the night and rest during the day. Animals that are active at night and rest during the day are called nocturnal animals, like bats.
So let's
owls.
pause for a moment.
Owls.
Do they eat meat?
They do, but
Some
I
of them.
didn't.
But it says most salamanders. Yeah.
Okay, and so here though, at the very beginning, it says salamanders are carnivores. They eat other animals. So that carnivores are animals that eat meat. They eat other animals. Yeah,
Oh.
I didn't see that.
yeah, so you can be amphibians and also eat meat. The other thing that you're doing today that's really helping our thinking is making sure that when you have thinking, you know what words in the book helped you to get that thinking. That's really, really important because one of the things that happens is we have lots of information in our head. We've got to know which information that the book is helping us to bring into our thinking, okay? Bringing it kind of into our understanding here around the book. All right. So how did you do in making sure that when we were talking, that when more than one person started, that it didn't just become this big mess? How did you handle it?
Good because what happened to I remember when it happened to most all of us except Mariah, and then we all stopped, and then I had let Brendan go. So I think we did good.
And how did you invite Brandon to share his thinking?
She said Brandon come over first.
She was just being polite and just letting him go first. Like if you were at a dinner table and you were being really polite, you would let your parents or your other sibling go first.
Oh, so you just invite them in?
Or you just keep talking until they stop.
That's
what I do.
I think
And yet, haven't we found out that that really doesn't work as well? It's not very courteous,
I
is
don't
it?
do
Yeah.
that.
That's what
I used
I
to
do.
do that, but I found out that it's rude because
You're
because
talking
some
over
people
them.
are looking at you like,
Hello.
why'd you do that?
Yeah, because sometimes we think that's the way we get our voice in, but what it does is it's not being very courteous to the other people. Yeah, and you know what? I did actually see you waiting for other people.